This is the train to Mount Vernon, right?
I hope not.
Mount Vernon train will be leaving in 3 minutes. Track 8.
Hey, am I on the right train?
I don't know, man.
Leave them all tickets ready. This is Metro North, the North Line. Hey, what are you doing?
And if people say, Monica, how can you laugh at that? Because damn it, it's funny.
Okay, so I finally gave in and decided to watch Madame Web. And I just wanted to see, okay, it couldn't be this bad. They took on Twitter, a snippet of the trailer, a pre-trailer snippet, whatever. And the editing was so off. And I'm beginning to think, and then there's a headline now that, is it Sony Pictures blames Dakota the reason why the movie is not doing well? Let me see, first of all, the clip that they put on Twitter, which was poorly edited, was not a good promotion for this movie. Now that I've seen the scene in its full, in its entirety, yeah, it was poorly edited. So that teaser scene of her saving this guy, she's a paramedic, is that the phrase? And Dakota's character is a paramedic, and she works with this guy who's also like her partner. I just want to see what the hype is, not the hype, the lack of hype, I guess. And so far, I'm 40 minutes into the movie, 43 minutes, where the character is saving these teenage girls on the train. And I kept saying throughout the whole thing, the only bad thing about this movie, but the main thing that I have a problem with this movie so far is the villain. In the opening scene where Dakota's, I'm getting her character's name, her mom dies during childbirth in the Amazon, and she finds some exotic spider that she's been searching for, and the villain was working with her. She finds it, he kills her whole team, and he kills her. He takes the spider with him, he runs away. Some random Amazon figure saves her mom. They're in a pool of some sort, and she gives birth. And this was in 1973. And so we skipped to 2003, where we see obviously her grown up. But the villain guy, there's a part where the ADR is awful. I'm saying all this to say the ADR is awful. The ADR is awful, because whenever you can still see his face in frame, and his lips are not moving, but yet you hear the bad ADR of something that this actor obviously had to come back in to the studio, which, by the way, they didn't make sure that the audio was believable, because the audio sound off. So obviously the actor had to come back in and to re-say certain lines. So when
I agreed to provide security for you because I thought you were close to finding the spider.
Well, it'll be worth the wait.
part where you see his mouth still, but he's saying his mouth is not moving, but yeah, he's saying something in ADR. And then later he gets a vision that he saw himself dying, where the three teenage girls grew up. They're in their whole superhero suits and they kill him, and he falls from his apartment. He wakes up and then he's looking, he has his, I don't know, somebody working for him trying to find these girls. And in that whole conversation, again, his face is in frame, his mouth is not moving, but yet you hear the bad ADR.
They're younger than I thought. I didn't know we'd be targeting teenagers.
They're teenagers now, but in the future, they have powers, and they will try to destroy me. I came from nothing, less than nothing. I will not give up.
So that is the worst thing about this movie so far. 43 minutes in, the worst thing about this movie, about Madame Web, is the bad ADR. You know, a pigeon slams into. There's a lot of imagery of, a lot of tilting of cameras. I'm noticing the theme of this movie. There's a lot of tilting of cameras, upside down shots. I forgot the term that they call it. Is it dolly? I'll put it in post. Anyways, and so she's in her apartment, you know, sad about her friend's death that she foresaw, but she didn't understand that she was actually, you know, and she sells seashells by the seashore. She sees a pigeon slam into her window, and there's a crack. And there's a lot of imagery of crack windows. And again, I'm watching it and I'm like, this movie is not bad. Apart from the bad ADR, this movie is not bad. Okay, so she sees that, she notices that the pigeon dies, and then she wakes back up, whatever. It doesn't happen. She goes to the window and she opens the window that is not cracked at this point. She opens up the window and again, she's just trying to figure out what's happening. There's a deja vu, what's happening. She's confused. She lifts up her window. Instead of the pigeon dying by hitting the window, it flies through. So she saves the pigeon's life. And she realized by making that change in the time continuum, I think that's the phrase, she saved the pigeon's life. So and again, building on her visions and what she has to do for the rest of the movie, saving these teenage girls, it made sense. And I'm thinking here, why was this movie getting a bad rap? Again, apart from the bad ADR, at this point, I would give this movie a 6.5. The bad ADR is really throwing me. It's the worst I've ever seen. And so I would have to give it a 6.5, a 6. And this is the scene where I'm like, this is why Dakota got the role. This is a very dry character. And if you've seen memes of Dakota, like when she was on Ellen, she's like, that's not true, Ellen. You know, I invited you to my birthday party. She's a very dry person. And so she's walking, she's trying to protect the girls, and she's walking. She has one skateboard in her hand. She's walking through the train, trying to run away from this villain. And the guy that she met up with kind of talks to her. She's like, I don't know, man. Like, in a very dry way. And I'm like, oh, this is where she got the role. This is a very dry character. And I laughed. So I'm like, oh, this is why she got the role. This is why Dakota got the role. It was funny.
This is the train to Mount Vernon, right?
I hope not.
Mount Vernon train will be leaving in 3 minutes. Track 8.
Hey, am I on the right train?
I don't know, man.
Leave them all tickets ready. This is Metro North and off line. Hey, what are you doing?
And if people say, Monica, how can you laugh at that? Because damn it, it's funny.
Okay, I had to rewind the scene where they're running away from the eerie Spider-Man. He does say, she's walking with the girls through the train and the lights are going out. And the guy says to her, hey, am I on the right train? It's fun. It's a funny scene. It's a funny interaction. Why does he feel he needs to ask her that? He could have asked the man behind him. It's funny that this guy in the suit is asking her, hey, am I on the right train? Why do you think she knows, sir? You have a man behind you. You could have. I'm sorry. That was just funny. Again, I think Dakota's character is meant to be a dry person. She's not a bubbly, she's a dry person. It was funny. So again, this movie is a solid, decent movie. I like the Final Destination franchise. It was reminding me a lot of that. Her seeing these visions of the deaths of these different people. Very Final Destination vibey. I don't know, my first impression so far, 43 minutes in, this movie is a solid, decent movie. 6.5, 6. So far. Bad ADR, that's the worst thing about this movie right now. So I think it's unfortunate that, first of all, Sony throws Dakota under the bus, saying that she's the reason, like, her bad press. But then, because the movies apparently did poorly, Dakota, is not really, I don't know if she's fazed by it or she's not trying to have it affect her. But this movie is not a bad movie. The edits, I think the promotional marketing team did them no favors with the teaser that they put, because that teaser made me realize, oh, I'm not going to watch this movie because it's poorly edited. Yeah. So, unfortunate.